In this episode.
In this episode of the Ins and Outs podcast, myself and Jacob talk about stepping out of your comfort zones, but you must make sure you do it wearing really nice shoes.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
No. I fucking hate you sometimes.
Why?
Because you're going to go like, we talk about this. And talk about
Sorry. In this episode of the Ins and Outs podcast, me and Jacob talk about stepping out of your comfort zones. Make sure you wear really nice shoes when you do it, because it's always going to make it feel a little bit better, because you're going to like how you look. It's going to make you feel cooler. That's a good point. Should have said that. Should have said that earlier.
We talk about the benefits
of stepping out of your comfort zone and overcoming them. We also talk about our experience being guest speakers at a live podcast with the Capsule. And we talk about our fears and how we're going to overcome them. Come on, Susie.
Come on, Susie.
We talk about Susie as well. Hey, there you go. Enjoy. What's up, everyone? We're back. Episode 2.
Am I keeping that in?
What?
Am I keeping that in?
No.
I'm keeping that in.
No, because I got...
No, this is my way to sabotage you over the years.
Because I got Arabic. I'll get done.
No, you won't. I'll get done by the PC police.
Someone will be offended.
I would.
Right, we're starting again. 5, 4, 3, 2. Just make it clap. Just make it clap. Why were you doing duck lips? They can't see it because the mic's in the way, can they?
Let's go.
Right.
I was making the noise.
You're making it clap. Just make it clap. Yeah. Nice. So we're back. We're doing episode 2 of the day because I'm always away and we're always busy. Slamming them in while we can. And in this episode, I hope you've all had a wonderful week, by the way. And thank you if you came to my class on Friday. I have another class this Friday the 28th.
Wow, shameless.
Please come and train and support me and help me buy some more trainers. And
you don't better add that part in.
I promise you will find benefit from coming to my class.
Facts.
Yeah, actually, I would do like a fully get a refund if you don't have a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe in that.
Yeah, someone would just say they didn't like it or just for the money back. But I would bet that they like it.
Give me my £9
back. But they have to do a full 2-page essay why they didn't like it.
Why they didn't like it. How much is it? 10 quid? 11 quid?
10 or 11.
10, 11.
Something like that.
Nice.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Hour and a half, 25 minutes.
Hour and 25. 5-minute changeover. Nice. Yeah, worth it. Go get training.
Friday, 5:30.
Friday.
Funky Fridays. And warm-up is going to be, it's Friday then, it's Saturday, Sunday, what? It's not.
I was going to say, it never will be.
No, it's never going to be that. Anywho, we're back. And in this episode, we are going to talk about stepping out of your comfort
zones.
Nicely done, Jacob.
I was waiting. The cue was there.
Jacob was ready. So we're going to talk about stepping out of your comfort zones because I feel like it's something...
essential.
It's something essential. It's most definitely essential. It's also something which can be quite terrifying, yet the benefits are outrageous. The growth is exponential. It's like...
Can I start with a quote?
Wait. It's like... No.
But
it's like, wait. Stepping out of your comfort zone is like steroids for your brain.
Let's go.
Come on now. It'll make you 80% better. Did a percentage because you like percentages.
Gains.
Stepping out of your comfort zone will 100% make you feel uncomfortable.
Whoa.
Come on, Susie.
Really?
Come on, Susie.
Susie.
I didn't tell you my Susie story.
Okay, let's start with Susie's story.
So my new thing that I do is I go, come on, Susie.
Are you talking to a Susie by any chance?
Wait. So I don't know how. I don't even know how "Come on, Susie" has happened. It was "Come on now."
I've adopted it as well.
It was "Come on now," and now it's "Come on, Susie." So I've been doing it in every class that I teach. And then the other day I went, "Come on, Susie," and a girl looked at me with the biggest smile on her face. She's called Susie.
Yo, Susie, and she's like 18, 19?
Yes.
You sure?
100%.
Yeah, there's no Susies.
I did the register. Named Susie. She looked so happy. They finished dancing. I went, "Come on, Susie." She was like, I was like, "Oh, how do I say not you?"
Wow.
Not that she wasn't good,
Wow.
but I didn't mean
Susie,
it
if you're
about-
listening to this, I'm so sorry for his tragic behaviour.
I'm so sorry too. But I didn't mean come on Susie about her in that
Yeah.
moment. I just meant it was the general
The general
the
context
general
of Susie.
context of Susie's in the room. But she thought I meant her.
Yeah.
I didn't have the heart to tell her.
No, you just did.
If you don't know, now you know, Susie. Oh, go on, what's
Okay,
your quote?
what's my quote? Everything you've ever wanted is just on the other.
Sorry.
I don't trust
They're
you.
open, I promise.
Everything you've ever wanted is just on the other side of fear.
Ooh.
And it's true.
$1 million
Maybe not.
to be 2 inches taller.
Paid. Where do I sign up?
How is that the other side of fear?
Well, it's not on the other side of fear. I don't fear being short.
Oh, okay, I see what you did there.
Yeah,
good quote, bro.
No, I and it's something that I have to really like step back into and like go, or if I'm feeling anxious or worried about it, I'm going, there's something better on the other side of this. You know.
Nice. Okay, so what was the last time you stepped out of your comfort zone?
There's been quite a lot of videography jobs lately where I'm just turning up not actually knowing what the fuck I'm doing.
Is that because it's out of your comfort zone or you're underprepared?
Comfort zone, because I don't know how to prepare for it. Like, I prepare in every way that I know how to. I watch YouTube videos. I make sure
You're mentally
I'm
prepared.
mentally there. Like, you know me, bro. I'm never turning up.
No, I know, but they don't. I'm just...
That's true. I'm never turning up not knowing what's going on or like not having thought about it. But like,
I do.
especially in videography world, like I really have to think about that because there's so much to think about. Like, I've never not turned up with the right equipment, etc. But I tell you what, one that we haven't spoken about is I felt very uncomfortable doing that live podcast that we did quite recently.
We did. We both felt very uncomfortable. So we were invited to speak at the Capsule's 1 year anniversary live podcast. So big shout out to Luke and his team. We were very, very grateful to be invited. And we actually had a really, really lovely time.
Apart from the trains.
Trains were a fucking nightmare, but that's another day.
That's another day.
But we're
Fuck
so
you,
grateful
TFL.
to come and the fact that you'd even consider us. But...
no buts.
No.
However,
Nicely done. However,
I got you, Holmes.
stepping out of our comfort zones, holy freaking moly. So I feel like we weren't nervous leading up to it at all. And then we were on the train, we weren't nervous. And then I feel like we got on the bus.
Yeah.
We got on the bus going towards it, and the fear started to kick in a little bit. And I said, it might be partially my fault, but I said, I'm nervous because this isn't our demographic, even though it's dance. So it is our demographic. It's not within our
normal
realm of people that we would maybe talk to or engage with on a teaching or podcasty level, because it was a very freestyle, hip-hop underground freestyle heavy audience. And
yeah, it was a battle scene, wasn't it?
yeah, that's neither of us, even though Jake does like to freestyle, but
I haven't liked it.
but it definitely wasn't our audience. And I said to you, I feel like we're going to be the opening act at a concert that everyone is paid to go and see, like Little Mix, and we're the opening act and no one's going to listen.
No.
We're just going to be background noise, and no one's there for us, so no one's going to give a shit.
Nope.
And as soon as I thought that,
And then you vocalized it as well.
as soon as I implemented that little bit of doubt in my own brain and then vocalized it, bitch, like oxygen was like water to it. I got more scared as the minutes went on. And then even when we arrived at the venue, it became even more intimidating because it was such an amazing venue.
Yeah, it's lovely.
It was so beautiful, and something about it being so beautiful made me more nervous.
Yeah, because it wasn't like some D-tier level production. It was like...
Yeah, it's like he's putting loads of effort into this and it's a big deal. And I don't know, I felt really scared. And then we were waiting. We both had a beer before we started, and as we were doing it, but we opened it, and then,
And one beer and I'm out.
yeah. And then people started walking in, like, Kenrick Sandy walked in, who, if you don't know, you need to know. Like, he's one of my idols. Like, he's someone I've looked up to for a very, very long time in the dance world. And then Dylan...
I think that's how you pronounce it.
Moirel.
Sorry,
Dylan. Dylan walked in, and, another really, like, big name in the dance space, and someone that we both kind of, like, look up to. on not just the dance level, but on his mind and stuff like that. And he's someone that we've always wanted to talk to on the podcast. And then other dancers were walking in that I recognized from like the battle scene and stuff. And I know they're a big deal. And then by the time we started the podcast, I was terrified. I could hear the nerves in my voice.
Which actually, funny enough, goes very hand in hand with what we were just talking about in the previous pod about there being a camera and it's like permanent.
But it wasn't the camera that scared me.
No, it was the audience.
It was the audience.
Yeah.
And it was the kind of things we were going to talk about. I didn't know if it would if they would care.
Yeah.
Not that it wouldn't be relatable. I just didn't know if they would care to be interested in it.
It was quite a brave topic. So what we spoke about was pivotal moments in your life that created monumental change.
Remembered.
That was it, wasn't it?
Yeah. And, at the time, I felt like we were talking complete and utter gibberish.
I know I was.
You weren't, but we felt like we were. I got real deep and I didn't mean to. But we're not going to tell you all about it because I'd love you to just go and listen to it on the Capsules platform, on their YouTube. But yeah, well, I listened to it back and actually I was like, yo, we actually made a lot of sense. Like, it was really good. And I didn't sound as scared as I felt. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
Our poker faces were really good, even though I was shit in it and terrified. But that was the most uncomfortable I've felt in a very long time.
And I think part of that was, it's not something that we ever do. There's a real big difference between, and again, it goes. Okay, I'm gonna loop into this in a second. But there's something massive to say about volume of something that you do daily. So, for example, you often perform in front of people as a dancer, but you don't public speak in front of other people.
I do in front of a classroom, but it's teaching. It's different.
It's different, and it's not like you can be so loose in a classroom environment. Do you know what I mean? Where like this felt like it was a completely new environment, and I think that's the main thing surrounding fear is the unknown. And I think there's something to do with a guy called James Smith, which is a PT, but he also...
I like James.
Yeah, he talks very blunt talking, but anyway, he says most things are based on the volume of how much you do something. And he gave the two examples of he can walk onto stage and with no preparation and do a public talk. But if he asked a girl out at the bar, asking the girl at the bar would make him feel way more scared because he has 100 times more volume doing the public speaking than asking the girl at the bar. And that really resonated. I was like, is fear and volume go hand in hand?
Yeah.
Are they counterlinked?
Because the more you do something, the less scary it becomes.
Less scary it is. And that for us is very uncomfortable because we've never really spoken in front of other people on that capacity. But B, it's not our people. It's not our usual demographic.
And I think because there was no rapport built beforehand, whereas a lot of the time when I public speak, I've taught, or I've done a dance class, or I've met them before. So where there was no rapport with these people, and then it was really hard to gauge
how they
perceived us because it wasn't interactive. We didn't interact with them in the sense of we didn't ask them questions, and we didn't it wasn't a Q&A. It wasn't we're all involved in this. It was us two speak and them listen. But as soon as we started getting some feedback, as soon as there was reactions and people giggled or someone someone clapped or someone said something, or even I heard a noise, I started going, oh, they're in the room. They're still here. They're still here.
That's interesting. If we had an hour to socialize beforehand and then did the talk, how would have that gone down?
Maybe it would have made us feel more comfortable.
Feel more comfortable.
But we could have walked around at the beginning and interact with everyone. But I think because we were nervous, we were trying to get in the right headspace.
Yeah, which actually probably.
So I was mentally preparing myself. Whereas probably would have done us favors is going around the room and introduce themselves and loosen up a bit. So then we weren't complete strangers from the jump.
Lesson learned.
Yeah, but overcoming that, stepping out of our comfort zone and going and doing that, what benefits did you feel from it?
So benefits is you don't die.
Yeah.
It's like, again, we kind of touched on this on the podcast just gone. It's like nothing really happens by going wrong. Like I'd said a quote wrong twice. I never actually said the quote right ever. I realized, listened to that podcast.
Yeah, and no one cared.
Because
we still know what you meant.
Yeah, because I was still given the right context off, just through a looser way. But it's like, you walk away from that situation and you go to bed and nothing really changes.
Yeah.
And I've spoken about this on the podcast. I always say the what next or the what if idea. And you always go, okay, so what happens next?
Yeah.
And then you answer, you go, oh, I feel embarrassed for a minute. What happens next? Oh, I get over it. You know, and it's like, it kind of reinforced that idea of like being a little bit embarrassed in front of a public is not actually a bad thing.
No.
If anything, it's quite a good
And actually
thing.
now I think if we had to go and do it again, I'd still feel nervous, but I'd feel far less nervous.
I'd feel far less nervous.
Because we've done it. Like, that was our cherry popper. Like, we lost our virginity, that one.
We
It
did.
was terrifying.
It was.
And it wasn't as quick as I thought it'd be. No, we actually did okay.
No, but it's only 2 minutes.
And like, and then even after, like, you know, people said well done and they enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And that's then what made me go, oh, I wish you'd had like a well done sign that you could have put up halfway through. Or like
Keep
after
going.
the first 3 minutes, yeah, like I'm having fun.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
or just smiled at me. Like, because it's really weird, right? So I couldn't really see their faces very much. And I was trying maybe not to look, so I was trying not to let it put me off. But I think as soon as I remember looking across and seeing Sean Amy from Plague, Popper, and seeing him nodding his head and smiling, and straight away I felt calmer because I was like, there's feedback. You know what I mean? There's a reaction. Whereas I think because I was afraid to look for reaction, I made it harder for myself. I made it more difficult. Whereas you said you were looking at them quite intently.
And which actually threw me off at first because there was no reaction for the first 10 minutes. And so I was just looking around and I was like, fuck.
everyone's just staring at us.
Staring. But what I was looking for was people looking away, not looking at
To
us.
see if people were zoning out.
And if they were on the phones. No one went on their phones. Everyone was engaged. And that began to build up that confidence level. You know.
And then even we had some messages after it saying that they really enjoyed it and
we
like
did.
stuff like that. So thank you to those who messaged. Like,
Yeah.
that really made us feel better about it. But I would actually love to do it again. Now we've done it.
Absolutely. And something that on the topic of stepping out your comfort zone is, I think, okay, we're going to go deep. Where our society has got so comfortable. Have you heard the quote? Let me rewind back even further. Have you heard the quote? Hard times create strong men.
Yes, Joe Rogan's famous quote. Well,
It's not actually about him.
Yeah,
Strong-
but he always
so-
says it.
Hard times create strong men. Strong men create easy times. Easy times create weak men.
Weak men create hard times.
Weak men create hard times. Yeah, thank you. So it's like this kind of continuous loop in
Recycling.
society. Yeah. And I feel where we are now is it's easy times. And I'm not, obviously, there's a pandemic and there was economic downfall now and blah, 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 blah. But it's almost like we're now creating the weak times.
Yes.
Sorry, the hard times, sorry.
Yeah, because we've become
Because it's become too
softer or
easy.
weaker people.
And I think there's this massive link between being continually out of your comfort zone and conquering those comfort zones and mental health benefits. Like, I think where our society has become so standardized and what's the word I'm looking for? Like a continuous cycle of the same kind of day in, day out. Structured. Yeah. It's like none of us are ever, I feel like a lot of us are not stepping out of a comfort zone, which then becomes harder to step out of your comfort
Which
zone.
then creates things like anxiety
and
and
etc.
You know, all those things which come with it because you're so used to feeling safe.
Safe.
That
Yeah.
as soon as you're going to feel a little bit unsafe, that terrifies you.
That terrifies you. And something that I said this on a podcast like a few months ago. Like I went and did that. It's quite aggressive climbing weekend where it was stupidly dangerous. Shouldn't have probably done it.
No, you shouldn't have.
It was very stupid. But what that gave me was a level of measurement of fear, discomfort, safety, anxiety, etc. Because it was the week before we did the live podcast.
Yes.
It was the weekend before. So when going into this podcast, I had a relevant thing to go, oh, actually, I was on the side of a cliff and on the verge of dying last weekend.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel anywhere near as bad. And so it gave me like this kind of unit of measurement to balance out how I should be feeling in that time. Because I think like if you have a very normal life of just going to the office, then going home and blah, 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 like, and then you go and do something uncomfortable, like a public speaking job, all of a sudden you've gone from 0 to 100 and 100 feels really fucking scary. But if you do a couple of things, 50, 80, 90, you know, out of your comfort zone, then you go to 100, it's no longer a jump.
Yeah.
So now I'm consciously thinking, okay, let's do stuff regularly that makes me feel uncomfortable.
I feel like growing up, I was always putting myself in those positions.
Yeah.
Like I went to,
But
like,
as an adult, you don't as much.
I don't now because
But
now
your
my
career
life
does,
has,
actually.
but my life has more structure now.
Mm-hmm.
But like when I first, I did a TV show in Spain,
Mm-hmm.
called Operation Triunfo, and
Go again.
Operation Triunfo, and OT. That's what they used to call it.
Right.
And so it was like X Factor kind of.
Right.
And I went there and I was going to live with a guy called George. No idea who he was. And I got off my plane at Barcelona and I asked someone how I got to that area and got the public transport over there, pulling my suitcase. Hadn't looked at it beforehand, hadn't prepped how I was going to get there or anything. And everyone was like, wait, so you just got to Barcelona and then figured out how you're going to get there? And I was like, yeah. And everyone was mind boggled. But I was so used to like being like that. Like even when I moved to LA and I lived in Koreatown. I didn't even know where Koreatown was. But I was going to live in Koreatown and I hadn't planned how I was going to get to my house.
Just took a flight.
Just took a flight to LA, got off the plane with 2 suitcases, and everyone was like, "You're going to get a taxi." And I was like, "Nah, I want to like learn public transport. What a better way to learn than now?" Like, so
Because you have to.
Because I have
But
to.
you're not getting there.
Yeah, so I figured it out via public transport. And then I ended up walking for like an hour, pulling 2 suitcases, which wasn't fun. But I learned my way around Koreatown.
Yeah.
Like I got from LAX to my house. And to some people that is absolutely outrageous. Like, why on earth would you do that?
Especially with the way our lives work, having not social media, our phones.
Yeah, and having
Information
everything
on
done
tap.
for us, like everything. I never did. And then I think back to like being in LA and not really knowing anyone and not really having many friends and going to like different events to meet people or like some really dope dancers, Tony Bellissimo, Matt Elwood and Ivan Conway have had a house party and I only knew Matt and I went to their house party. I'd only been in LA like a week and I went to their house party and met like not hundreds,
Everyone.
but loads of people within the dance industry, and it was terrifying. But I knew if I wanted to make this place feel like a comfortable place to be, I had to go and make friends. So I had to go through those uncomfortable moments.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And introduce myself and be the new British guy and like do all those things. Whereas now as an adult, or an older adult, I was an adult then. I'm not in those positions as much anymore now. Because
and you control the narrative a lot more.
I control the narrative. And when I go into a room to teach or to speak, it's by someone else's request. Do you know what I mean? It's not, I have to do this. I have to make this choice to go in there of people, I'm paid to go in there. Or people come into my room.
Yeah.
That's the difference now. So even my life has got safer, so to speak. So going into that environment and having to speak in front of all those people felt terrifying. Whereas actually, I think maybe a few years ago that wouldn't have scared me as much because I was so used to going in and having to make friends. Whereas I don't make friends anymore. Like I don't go, but I don't go and meet like lots of new people anymore. I go and teach, and that's not the same thing. So I always used to overcome these like scary things which felt scary, and now I don't.
And so it becomes harder.
Way harder.
Something that clicked in my mind is there's this idea in certain very aggressive business strategies to never have a plan B. So that plan A has to work.
That's my story of my life.
Yes,
never
which
had
kind
a
of,
plan B.
as you were saying, the story about going to Spain and LA, etc. It's like you absolutely had to work it out. There's no other option.
No.
And that's quite interesting. There's something that I learned in a martial art called Wing Chun, which is a shit martial art. I wouldn't recommend it. But they learn that having your back up against the wall is actually a good thing because there's no other way someone can attack you. And I've kind of adopted that to business sometimes, or like strategies for overcoming stuff. Like, okay, my back's up against the wall, which means I can only go forward, which is quite a comfortable feeling because it's like I no longer have to spend energy thinking of what's here. I just think of energy, what's going to help me go forward.
Yeah. So let's translate that into like maybe moments that the listeners might like relate to. So like say it's going into a new dance class. Like that is a style of dance that you're really terrified of. Like it's only going to be that scary the first time.
Yeah.
Unless something outrageously traumatic happens in that class. Do you know what I mean?
Fall over, break your leg.
Or you have a horrendous teacher who makes it a real bad experience and makes the next time going back even more scary. But if they're that bad of a teacher, then you won't go back.
Yeah.
Not into that room anyway. Do you know what I mean? But like, their own, like you said earlier, it's within volume. it gets less scary the more you do
More
it.
you do it.
So like I always use like the analogy, like I went and did tap class with 10-year-olds. Like as a 30-year-old professional dancer, I went into a tap class room with a bunch of 10-year-olds, and they all looked at me like I was an idiot, and they laughed. Was it a nice feeling?
Nope.
No. But I was never going to get better unless I did it. So if I go and do it again, it's not going to be as scary because I can now do a pickup. Like I can now
do a shuffle.
I can now do the thing that I went in there to learn
Yeah.
something of, right? So it's less scary and it's familiar. It becomes familiar. Like, so what other things would that, like maybe stepping out of your comfort zone might be like, I don't know, going to get new headshots. I bet some people that's the most daunting thing ever. So then do it more. You not necessarily go and pay for them, but like set up your camera on your phone, practice like posing, do headshots, like, so it doesn't feel like new every time.
And I think I don't even think it has to always be like in the direction of where you're going. Like as a dancer, for example, let's say you went and did a completely different skill. I'm just going to use the example of rock climbing because it's what I've been doing lately. Like going to do something that completely feels unnatural and uncomfortable can still build the fear control muscle, let's call it. Like the ability to like control anxiety and like stepping into new environments. I think it has carry over to every sector of your life. Like, I don't know, let's say you went speed dating. You know, it's something that feels so like, ugh.
Yeah, the skills that you're going to develop doing that.
Doing speed dating might carry over to the ability to talk to a choreographer and
most definitely
in a class. Do you know? And
most
it's like
definitely.
Such a random example.
No, but I like it. It's good. I like
you know,
where you're going.
like, and something that I think about, it's like every element of my life has built to being able to do this part of my life. Like as an example of this is like I was my first ever job as a hairdresser. That gave me such an extreme amount of volume of being able to speak to people.
Because it's every 30 minutes speaking to someone new.
So it gave me insane volumes of... So now I feel comfortable talking to anyone. Yeah. Because I have that volume behind me. And then that led to being a salesman, which then led to being a PT, which then led to being a podcaster. Do you know what I mean? It's like every... Even though it's a skill from a completely different realm, there's always a transferable skill, you know. And I think if you are struggling with being able to step into new environments, recognize it and then go and do as many new things as possible.
Is there anything that scares you now? Like what would?
Are we talking like fucking spiders or?
No. Like, or maybe, but like, what would make you like? What would be now stepping out of your comfort zone? Do you think like that you can think of off the top of your head?
I think dance is my most uncomfortable place.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know why I went so high pitched then. Really?
Like, if I was... Like, I hate dancing groups. Still. I'm way better than I used to be. But I just... That's not where I feel comfortable.
Which is interesting because that's how you became a cameraman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I turned that negative
actually,
into
you
a positive.
turned your fear of doing groups into getting
Into
out
a
of
career.
groups and saying, can I film for you?
Yeah, that was my get out. Did you clock that or did I tell you?
Of course I clocked it.
Okay. So
I did say to you I'd rather you dance, but
Yeah.
if you want to film, of course you can film.
Yeah, like for context, like I used
And
to
and then you were good, and I was like, oh, bro, you should actually.
Let's go with it. Yeah, and I think so, like to continue leaning into the example of like for me, public speaking was always a challenge, or to be seen by multiple people was always a challenge. So then I started doing like social media videos of me talking about like philosophy and ideas and business ideas and blah 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 blah. And again, just increasing that volume of the things that make you feel uncomfortable no longer makes you feel uncomfortable. You know, like again, going back to the podcast, it's like when I first started, I felt super uncomfortable, and now it's just another day of the week. It's just part of the, because it's increasing the net volume.
I think for me, the uncomfortable thing would be having to do public speaking about something that I don't know really well.
Right. So if you did public speaking, let's say you got asked to do TED Talk. Do you know what TED Talks is?
Yes, of course.
So if you did TED Talks on how to be a successful dancer,
I think I'd be okay though, because it's something I know.
But so it's not the public talking, it's the unfamiliarity.
It's the unfamiliar.
I don't think that's even a word.
It's that. It's if that happens.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like little things like that in certain environments, I'd feel so stupid for not being able to say that word in a place talking about something I don't know. Whereas if we were talking about dance, I wouldn't care because I'd be like, I can't say that word, but guess what? I really know this, so who cares?
Yeah.
Like, that's not my value. That's not my strength.
So
But if I can't bring my strength to the table, that terrifies me.
yeah, which makes total sense.
Yeah,
you know,
of course.
Like,
but that would be like, you know.
okay, so if you were to lean into something that you felt uncomfortable with, how would you deal with it?
Shot of alcohol, deep shot of alcohol, deep breaths, and go.
That's a
for it.
spliff.
Yeah, I would just generally probably have a shot of alcohol to calm the nerves.
Really?
Mm.
Like,
And that's something I've learned through dance environments and being around people who I look up to, and that's what they do to calm their nerves.
okay. I'm surprised.
It takes the edge off a little bit.
Right. Yeah, I think for me it's like, it's just recognizing that on the other side of this isn't as bad as you think it is. Like, and my understanding of anxiety is are us not trusting that we can deal with the situation.
Yes.
Which is kind of there's the root cause of most anxiety is like not trusting that we can, as I said, deal with a situation that's in front of us. And my experiences now tell me that I can deal with most situations pretty well.
I just think for me, as long as I'm in the like the loosest and the most relaxed I can be, the better I'm gonna be. Yeah. I like having a little bit of excitement and a little bit of nervousness, but if I'm feeling like tense or like really anxious, like we were for the public speaking thing, that's not where I thrive.
No.
Like I need to feel loose. If I loosen up, I'm fine. So like in lockdown when I was doing the Zooms, or I wasn't even doing Zooms, I was doing Instagram live podcasts. Do you know what I mean? So I was doing a podcast with people I idolized on Instagram while everyone was sat at home. I would always have a drink before it because I know then I'm going to just relax. I'm going to feel loose. And I'd be like, I'm having a drink in my house talking to my heroes. Like, this isn't scary. Do you know what I mean? Whereas actually, it's quite terrifying. Yeah. Because I'm doing it for anyone and their dog to watch. Like, I remember doing Nick Demora and CJ Salvador and Justin Bieber signing in and being like, what the fuck? Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that is scary. No, I think...
So as long as I can get myself loose.
Do you have an internal narrative that helps support stepping into uncomfort? So, like, as an example, like what I was just saying earlier is like, I've now got the volume of experiences behind me that suggests that I can deal with most situations well, which kind of deteriorates the anxiety. So for me, my internal narrative now is when stepping into a position that I don't understand or don't feel comfortable with, is I can work it out.
Yeah. My internal message that I give to myself always, and it's taught from my mum, is what's the worst that can happen?
What's the worst that can happen?
What's the worst that can happen? Or my other one, just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming.
Like, they're my two go-tos. Like, I'll be like, right, I have to just do this. What's the worst that can happen?
And I think once you identify what's the worst can happen, you realize very quickly that
it's not that deep.
It's not that deep.
No, you're just uncomfortable.
You're just uncomfortable.
It's only you.
And that will pass.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think what we suck as human beings is not recognizing that shit isn't permanent.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling sad, depressed, anxiety, anxious, like whatever, like probably by the end of the day or the day after that, it's probably going to have gone. But we get locked into the headspace of that this is a permanent experience and feature.
Yeah, and it defines you.
And it defines you.
But it really doesn't.
But it doesn't. Fun fact. Go on, here's a guess. So I started dancing at 21. How many times did I turn up for the same dance class before I walked through the door?
Oh, probably like 4.
4.
Was it? Yeah.
4 times. I got to the front door because this is like this. I was a very different headspace at 21. It took me 4 times to walk through the door.
Wow.
And I actually got to the front door and turned back on myself.
Wow.
4 weeks in a row. And just because it was pure anxiety of like not being able to deal with a situation that I didn't understand or could control.
Crazy.
When
I was in LA, I signed up for a thing called Class Pass. Right. And you could do as many classes you wanted in a month.
Are we at a dance studio?
No. It's an app. It's called Class Pass. It was an app. You can do as many classes you want in a month in all different things.
Right.
But you only get like 2 in each studio. So say like I went and did boxing.
Right.
I went and did taekwondo. I went and did jiu-jitsu. I went and did kickboxing. I went and did different yogas. I went and did like 4 different yoga things. Did one with a rope. Like all these different things like that you'd sign up to, and you get it. Basically, it's like you get free trials, so you can't use it forever like for that thing, but you get like trials, or you can use it twice a month in that studio.
Mm-hmm.
And I just went, and every day I would try something new and try a different one. They were all physical,
Yeah, so you could be
so
comfortable.
I could have some control and some like sort of comfort. But I tried new, I guess, skills to see if I liked them, and that was actually quite terrifying. Especially going and doing I did a taekwondo one, and I walked in and it was all children and women, and I was probably the only adult male in there except for the instructor, and that was quite daunting.
Yeah.
Like, and they weren't children like little kids; they were like
Teenagers.
teenagers, like 14, 15. But I was the only adult male in there besides the instructor, and that was quite daunting because I was thinking, "Oh my god, I'm in the wrong place."
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wasn't. It was just in the lowest class.
And that's the thing, isn't it? It's like,
And I had the best time. And they were teaching us how to do like falls and do these different roles. And they could all do it straight away. And I was like,
flapping about.
well, like in my head, I was like, I'll be able to do it because my skill set is adapting and learning physicality stuff. But I had to go wrong 3 times before I got it right.
Yeah. No, I think there is something like, there's something to stepping out of your comfort zone frequently and happiness and success and blah, 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 blah. I think fucking sign up for something random. And I think if you're in a rut in life, this is a bit of a beeline. If you're in a rut in life, go sign up to loads of random shit and you'll never know where you end up.
So they tell you the best thing I ever overcome was being on my own.
Bro.
Being on my own.
Come on now. We could do a whole podcast on this.
Being on my own made me unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
I moved the other side of the world on my own. Like, I can go to... I when I was there, I used to go to the cinema on my own. I used to go hiking on my own. I used to go to parties on my own. I used to go to the pub on my own. Didn't even drink. Just went to the pub to network, to see what was happening, because it was something to do, because I had nothing to do. Go shopping on my own. Like, being able to do things on your own...
Makes you unstoppable.
Makes you unstoppable. For me, personally, that's what I think. Like, I didn't need a friend to be like, should we go and take this dance class together? Should we go to the gym together? I'd go and try all new shit on my own. I went to a comedy night on my own. I went on my own to a comedy club.
Yeah,
like,
brave.
I didn't care.
Because
it wasn't about being with other people. It was about what experiences am I going to get?
Yeah.
What am I going to find? What am I going to like?
And that's so, like, the reason I didn't go into the dance class for 4 weeks in a row, when I referenced earlier, because I had no one to go with.
Yeah.
And if I had someone to go in,
it wouldn't have been as
but
scary.
the moment I could step into that environment once by myself, I could step into every other environment once by myself. Apart from, like, I was in Malta during lockdown and met this girl on the pub crawl, and she went on holiday by herself.
Yeah, Michael Naylor's doing it now.
I got so much time and respect for that, because that I would struggle with.
Yeah, Michael Naylor's go into Portugal on
Which
his
means
own.
I'm gonna have to go do it now that I fucking said it.
Well, I would like to do it, essentially, but if I'm gonna go on holiday, I feel like I should go with my partner because we haven't been in 3 years. But like, you know what I mean, so it's a bit of a dumb thing, but
Christmas.
yeah, but like where I think I've lived abroad on my own, I already feel like I've done it. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I've achieved that. I feel like I did it on my own. Like, I was always stepping out of my comfort zone there.
Okay, so you said earlier, what is the thing that scared me the most, and that'd be it. Go on holiday by myself.
Really?
Yeah. Because I just wouldn't know what to fucking do. Pussy, yeah, I would say it.
What'd you do? Those are things, bro.
That's
all the things that you would do if you had someone with you.
Yeah. No, I need to
like meet new people.
But I think
you'd more likely meet new people on your own than you would if you were with someone.
Yeah, and that's the bit that's hard to conceptualize. Is
because someone else who's on their own, you'll end up talking to, or there'll just be 2 people and you, and they'll ask you a question because they'll feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Not necessarily you feel comfortable to ask them something. They'll go, "Hey, you're on your own. Like, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
Like, and that's how it'll spark.
And the idea of walking into a bar by myself, like, scares the shit out of me. Because
Really?
the way we met this girl was me and my brother. It was an organised pub crawl. So you sign up and you pay like $20, whatever it is, and you go on a pub crawl together. And she went by herself, and I was like, "Yo, that's so brave."
Sick.
But it's because my social experiences doesn't tell me that I would be capable
of doing that,
of dealing with that situation, because I haven't got the volume behind me. Which all goes down to volume.
So, okay, so that's our goal.
Send me a brawl by myself.
No, for us both to try and step out of our comfort zones more.
Okay, so what are you gonna do?
don't know. I'm not really going to public speak in front of people about shit I don't know, because when would I do that and where? I'm going to stand outside Regent Street and be like, guys, the Bible says. Like, I have no idea.
The Bible of dance, bro. Two-step. Thou shalt two-step with groove.
Mine could be like dance stuff. That would be out of my comfort zone. Like
Going to a contemporary class.
going and taking ballet.
Yeah.
I fucking hate it.
And I think you should do something completely not dance related.
Okay. What?
I don't know. Like,
Stand-up comedy.
go on, because actually, we've spoken about this before. I think you should go do a stand-up comedy at a pub.
All right.
Would you do it?
Yeah.
Would you? I'm coming.
100%.
Would
No one's coming.
I'm coming.
I'm doing it on my own.
No, I'm coming.
No, I'm doing it on my own.
Okay.
No, I think that would terrify me, but I could do it.
Yeah. Okay, what should I do? Fuck, I don't want to do this. I
You
can't go on
should-
holiday by myself. I haven't
You
got
should
I haven't got the time for that at the moment.
just go to London for you on your own for the day
Go to London.
and not see your friends
Okay.
and go and take a dance class and dance in groups.
Fuck. If I get chosen in groups, I'd have to roast I.
Yeah, you will. I believe in you.
I believe me too.
We'll give you a class with the teachers that you don't know, so there's no familiarities. You can't be like, oh, it's cool, it's John, like we've met before.
Okay. Fuck.
You can go and do Lisa's heels.
Yeah, imagine.
You've met her, so it doesn't count.
Yeah, she probably won't recognise me.
Yeah.
I'll be wearing a wig.
Yeah.
Jacqueline in full flow.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like I do stand-up comedy teaching class. Because I'll tell a joke in the first class and it hits hard.
So you
And
say
I-
it the second and third.
the next 5. Hold that shit in. And sometimes I deliver it differently and it doesn't land. And I go, oh,
Learning. Okay.
all right, let's do it.
Do it.
By the end of 2025, yeah?
I was like, wait.
Wait,
What?
what?
25.
Wait, hey.
Hey.
Dope. So, moral of the story, peeps. Step out your
comfort zone.
And go and check out our podcast we did on the Capsule on their 1-year anniversary.
Blah,
Oh,
blah, blah.
and shout out to Jenny because she was hilarious.
Jenny was mad funny.
Jenny was mad. And make sure you watch Luke's, like, the Capsule after it because
Yeah.
Jenny make you giggle. Anyway, peeps. One
One
love.
love.
Bye. Don't forget to subscribe on everything.
Just type in the ins and outs and everything.
Bye.